What? Man City beat the current champions at their own turf at Anfield. Harry Kane making his comeback, scoring like he never left. Manchester United conceding a last-minute goal from DCL, Mr. HBK, the heartbreak kid. And then Arsenal losing once again to Aston Villa. Man, it's a tough season, man. Hi there guys, and welcome to a Dash of Sports Premier League review. I'll be your host and presenter, Dashiki Dash, and as per usual on this show, I'll be giving all the roundups and results from all the games from this past week. And don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and also don't forget to check out the main show itself, A Dash of Sports, where I discuss all things sports related, hot topics and trending stories. So remember to press the notification button so that you don't miss out on any of my shows. In the meantime, let's get into these games. Hi there guys, and welcome back to another episode of A Dash of Sports Premier League review, game week 23, and I'm back, you're back, and what a week to be back, because I feel like it's a special and significant week in the title race with Man City beating Liverpool. I don't know, man, is it safe to say that Man City have got one hand on that trophy? Well, today I'm going to give you the roundup to that game, Liverpool versus Man City, along with all the other games that were played out throughout this past week. Starting off with Leeds versus Crystal Palace this past Monday. Patrick Bamford netted his 12th goal of the season as Leeds United beat Crystal Palace 2-0 to move into the top half of the table. Jack Harrison got Leeds off to a dream start after 3 minutes when he shot from the edge of the penalty area, went in via deflection of Gary Cahill. Bamford could have netted twice in the opening half controlled by Leeds, but he had his header palmed away by Vincent Guaita and then skied over from close range. But the forward got the goal that he had been threatening against his former club in the 52nd minute. Matej Klich slid the ball through to Rafinha, Guaita parried the winger's shot, and Bamford was on hand to follow up for his 100th goal of his career. Harrison nearly added a third with 6 minutes left, but the powerful effort hit the crossbar and flew over. Leeds' third win in 4 matches moves them up to 10th place, currently sitting on 32 points, while Palace remain in 13th place on 29 points. First and foremost, let me just send that quick shout out to Patrick Bamford on his 100th career goal scored during that game. We've got to give it up to him, but he's been everywhere, well, in and around everywhere, whether it's been a loan move, whether it's been a permanent move. You got to give him full ratings for just the fact that he just kept on going. You know, being a professional footballer is not easy, and the knockbacks, the setbacks, everything like that is obviously part and parcel of the game. But you have to be made of strong stuff. You got to be having a strong character to know that, if it doesn't work out in one place and you are not accepted, or you're deemed that you're not good enough in one place, you can always go somewhere else and make it there. And he's been club to club to club. Now Patrick Bamford and Leeds are looking like a match made in heaven. The fact that even Bielsa is really trusting upon him to lead the line in a team that is real high demands, for players in that Bielsa team. He even had an interview after the game, and they asked him, like, what does Bielsa actually ask of you? Like, what do you really need to do to succeed in a Bielsa team? And he's like, look, man, first and foremost, before anything, it's just the hard work and dedication, running around and defending. Imagine, he's a striker, but he has to defend from the top. Everything starts from him. So, admittedly, he said, it's not every day that, or every minute he's able to run around like a headless chicken, but he puts in the work, and you can see it's been paying off, and he feels like he's become a much better player, a much better man due to Bielsa. So evidently it's showing. He's on currently on 13 goals for the season, I think level with Harry Kane. So that is perfect company to be around. And Leeds, for a team that's coming up, you got to say they're doing very well. I think their objective would have been like, listen, as cliche as it is, for a promoted side, you don't want to go back down in it, so you're just going to do what you can in order to survive. But they're doing more than surviving. They have entertained us thoroughly throughout this season. A few times I feel like they've had games that they should have won, but the Premier League is a tough place, so you got to give it to them. So Leeds, hey man, Patrick Bamford, keep doing your thing. And now moving on to Sunday's games, starting off with Sheffield United losing 2-1 to Chelsea as Thomas Tuchel continues his winning form since taking over as Chelsea manager. Jorginho's penalty put Chelsea in 5th as the midfielder's spot kick sealed victory over Sheffield United as Chelsea closed in on the top 4. Mason Mount's first half strike and Jorginho's penalty secured a 2-1 win at Sheffield United as Chelsea claimed their 3rd straight league victory. There was an early scare for Chelsea when Oliver Burke was played in by Oliver McBurney in the 1st minute but fired into the side netting. Chelsea edged ahead on 43 minutes. Ben Chilwell's weighted pass played in Timo Werner and his precise cutback was met first time by Mount, who drilled home in style. Sheffield United were back on level terms after 54 minutes when Antonio Rudiger's inadvertently poked the ball past his own goalkeeper Eduardo Mendy. But Chelsea then restored their lead 4 minutes later when Werner drew a foul from goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale and Jorginho made no mistake from 12 yards. Chelsea, who remain unbeaten under Thomas Tuchel, move up to 5th place with 39 points, 1 point off the top 4, and defeat for Sheffield United leaves them bottom on 11 points. Chelsea winning 2-1, but for me, I'm not really seeing exactly what Thomas Tuchel has brought to the team. It's still early. Many will say, yeah, you know, they're playing a better football, they're holding on to the ball a lot better, they're passing it around a lot better. But look, man, when Frank Lampard was getting it right, the team was looking good. But it's just this season is a very, very tough season. If you lose a couple of games, you're sinking very quickly. But at the moment, Thomas Tuchel's come. I feel like it's just that new manager bounce. You know, the players want to impress. You've got the likes of Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's now been very much favoured. So it's going to give you that boost, it's going to give you that bounce, and a load of other players are reacting very well. So it's very early. It's very early to say that, oh, Thomas Tuchel's doing something. But one thing that we do know he has to do, he has to qualify for Champions League. He has to push up in that league because he hasn't been brought in for no reason but that. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he fares towards the latter stages of this season. There were a few things that I did like during this game from Chelsea, and there's one thing in particular, well, one player in particular, and that was Timo Werner. Now, he's been getting hella abuse. Abuse in the sense like, you know, listen, you're not cutting it in the Premier League at the moment, innit? So you're getting critiqued, you're getting criticised, and rightfully so, because he's not performing, hasn't been performing, and hasn't been scoring. But one thing I did like from him in this game, he really was involved and obviously set up the goal. And if you're not scoring any goals, the next best thing that you can do is at least contribute. Make something apparent, make something obvious that, you know what, like, he's not scoring any goals, but he's doing something, he's assisting, he's getting about, he's getting around. And I feel like from this point forward, this is how he has to perform. He has to contribute to goals, either contribute to goals or he has to be scoring goals. But he needs to be doing one of the two, because as a forward, as a striker, if you're not scoring goals, yeah, man, everyone's gonna be on your neck. So if you're at least doing something else, contributing to goals, assisting, that will give you a bit of a leeway, a bit of room to breathe. And then hopefully with the confidence that comes with that, you're going to start scoring goals. And now without further ado, moving on to the next game, the main game of match week 23. Liverpool versus Man City, as Pep Guardiola's men beat Jurgen Klopp's side 4-1 in a game many said beforehand that if Man City wins this, they might win the league. Is it safe to say that they've got one hand on the trophy? Liverpool losing their grip on their title that they're trying to defend this season? Well, Ilkay Gundogan's double sent Man City 5 points clear at the top of the table as he scored 2 second-half goals as City claimed a top-flight record equaling 14th successive win in all competitions with a 4-1 victory at Liverpool. City were handed an opportunity to break the deadlock on the 37th minute when Sterling drew a foul from Fabinho, but Gundogan fired a penalty over. Gundogan did make up for his miss 4 minutes after the restart, lashing in the rebound after Alisson parried Phil Foden's shot. Liverpool then equalised on the 63rd minute, Mohamed Salah making no mistake from the penalty spot with a thumping finish after the Egyptian had been fouled by Ruben Diaz. But then Man City struck 3 times in 10 minutes to secure a victory. Gundogan was played in by Phil Foden to convert from close range after a defensive mix-up on the 73rd minute before Sterling's diving header from a poor Alisson clearance made the score 3-1. And then Phil Foden completed the scoring in style with a sizzling strike as Pep Guardiola claimed his first win as a manager at Anfield. City moved 5 points clear of second place Manchester United and with a game in hand, while Liverpool remained 4th, 10 points behind Man City. Can I just start off with a bit of criticism of Man City? And, you know, everybody can be like, oh, they play well. One thing that I criticize about Man City is like, out of all of those quality players, no one in that team can take decent penalties. They're always missing. And that was a shocking penalty, man. When you're aiming for the top bins and stuff like that, it's Amazon Prime, all or nothing. Like, you're leaving yourself with no real room. Like, for me, you gotta aim for that side netting, or at least just try and get it on target, because you never know. Keeper might parry it, might clip underneath them or whatever. But when you're going for the roofs and top bins and stuff like that, man, you're leaving yourself no choice. But lucky enough, Ilkay Gundogan didn't let his head go down, and he came back with 2 goals. Man, it was good that he didn't let his head drop, because, yo, it could have been that same situation when Mahrez missed his penalty and it cost Man City. So, lucky enough, he scored these goals for City to win 4-1. But all in all, I think it's safe to say that City are definitely in their groove. They're definitely playing with a swag. That swagger is back, and what amazes me is just like, you know, no recognised striker. Now, I know that they've got Jesus there. You know, he's their deputy striker right now. No Aguero. They've got no KDB, who's been missing for a few weeks now, but they're still getting the results. I think the stability in terms of their defence has shown. Last season, with that gaping hole of Vincent Kompany no longer being in the team, did really affect them. But now, you know, the defence is looking good. That partnership with Ruben Diaz and Stones, that's looking real good this season. And like I said, last season, with the fact that they didn't have Vincent Kompany and that gaping hole in defence, it's now good to see the contribution of what a good defence can bring to the team. Especially with the attacking prowess that Man City have, is allowing them to be more free in terms of that attacking side. And this was a really good game to see the exact opposite, shall I say, where Liverpool last season had a really good defence, barely any injuries, anything like that. And then this season, no defence, loads of injuries. And I tell you what, man, any other team, they would be languishing right down there in the bottom, man, like Arsenal. They would not be surviving. With the injuries that they've had, real injuries. They were lucky last season they didn't have, you know, major injuries to key players. But this season, it's just been tough. And there was a question I was asking one of my boys as well, like, do you think that Liverpool needs to rebuild? Because their first 11 is great, but the guys that are coming in off the bench and stuff like that, I don't think they're good enough. And it was always going to be a tough ask with their first 11, their strong 11, to defend this title. And now with the players that they're bringing in into the squad right now, into the team, yeah, man, I think it might be safe to say that Liverpool, I don't think they're going to defend their title this season. But for this one, I'm going to leave it up to you guys, man. What do you think? Put your comments down below. Do you think that with this win, Man City winning, beating Liverpool, do you think it's one hand on the trophy? Or do you think there's still plenty of games for, I don't know, man, a title race that's going to go right down to the wire? Who knows? And Liverpool as well, do you think that that's a wrap for them in terms of defending the title? Or do you think that there's still many points to be claimed to push it right down to the wire? Put your comments down below and let me know. And now moving on to the next game, the no-score draw between Wolves and Leicester City, as the Foxes missed the chance to go level on points with second place Manchester United as they drew 0-0 at Wolves. Wolves started brightly with Ruben Neves firing over in the 11th minute before Adama Traore, who caused problems with his pace and skill throughout, had a shot deflected wide by James Justin. Leicester finished the first half on the front foot as a neat 1-2 between Harvey Barnes and Kelechi Iheanacho set up James Maddison, but Johnny made two important blocks in quick successions. Two substitutes had great chances to earn victory. First with Wolves, Fabio Silva had a close range shot brilliantly saved by Kasper Schmeichel. Then Jamie Vardy came off the bench on his return from injury and headed wide in stoppage time. This now means Leicester remain in third place on 43 points, 2 behind Man United, while Wolves stay in 14th with 27 points. And this is I'm just quickly and strictly talking as an Arsenal fan. Wolves, where was all that energy you were showing us? Yeah, like all of that you was giving, and man, this is what I hate, man. When you watch teams that you played previously before and then they end up either just having some stink of a performance or bad performance, and you just think, how come we weren't able to beat them? Anyway, this game, yeah, it kind of shows. Actually, it really showed why they're 14th place. Not really much to say about their performance. Leicester, yeah, inconsistent once again, and listen, if they're not careful, as much as they're riding high in the league right now in third place, with their inconsistent, performances, I can see them dropping out the Champions League spots yet again. So, like last season, they choked. Brendan Rodgers choked. If they go about their business like this, yeah, they might choke again. And now moving on to the next game, Tottenham Hotspur versus West Brom, in a game that Spurs really needed to win, especially after, at the back of a few lackluster performances, bad performances, a couple of losses, and some scathing criticism from Paul Merson as well, calling him boring to watch. Spurs really needed to win this game. In fact, they went on to win 2-0 against West Brom. Harry Kane's return from injury inspired Tottenham Hotspur to a first win in 4 matches as they earned a 2-0 home victory over West Brom. Kane, who went close 3 times in the first half, swept in a Pierre-Emile Højbjerg's pass on the 54th minute to become Spurs' joint second highest all-time scorer with 208 goals in all competitions. Son Heung-min, seemingly boosted by his teammate's swift recovery from a double ankle injury, added Spurs' second 4 minutes later. Kane started a counter-attack which led to Lucas Moura teeing up Son to strike his 13th goal of the season, level with Spurs' opening scorer. West Brom's Mbaye Diagne had the best chance, but his first half header was superbly saved on the goal line by Hugo Lloris. The victory now sees Spurs remain in 8th place, sitting on 36 points. And as for West Brom, man, this is their 4th defeat in 5 matches, which has now left them second from bottom on 11 points behind 17th place Burnley. What can I say about Spurs? Obviously now the return of Harry Kane, that's definitely going to boost the morale of the team and also just bring back that much added quality that was missing. Kane is very integral to the way Spurs are playing. He does a great job in linking up the attack from midfield, obviously dropping in deep, playing that deep number 10 role, linking up well with Son, and that was missed over the couple of games that Kane was missing. Can I really see Spurs doing anything beyond Champions League positions? Nah, I don't think they're consistent enough, and I feel the way they are playing, as much as I wouldn't really attack them the way Merson was, in the sense like how boring they are. I feel like the style of play isn't what we are used to from Spurs. I know that there's a lot of Spurs fans that are not happy the way Jose Mourinho is running things right now, especially when it comes to the way they're playing football. Is it too early to be crying at Jose out? I think so. I think it's way too early. I think you need to kind of, at the end of it, look, his style is one of those things where it's a hit and miss. If it's going well for him and you're winning and you're gaining points, then you're like, you know what, he's doing his thing. If he continues with this style and you're not getting the points, obviously there's a grievance there, innit? You're going to be feeling a bit like, yo man, what is going on here? What type of football are we playing? But if he ends up getting a trophy for you guys, he's done his job, right? this is what you lot wanted. You lot wanted a trophy, so we got to see. I think it's one of them ones you just got to see at the end of the season to see what the type of football that you're playing, what comes off it. If you end up winning a trophy and you get into like European places, then you're going to be like, you know what, job done, effectively. If you don't win something and maybe you end up qualifying for Champions League or you don't qualify for Champions League, then you're going to have to weigh up the situation. Is it Jose in or is it Jose out? And now moving on to Saturday's round of games, starting off with Manchester United versus Everton. DCL, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, aka HBK, the Heartbreak Kid, causing some real heartbreaking pain with the last kick of the match to earn Everton a dramatic 3-3 draw at Old Trafford. Well, it looked like Manchester United were cruising to a victory as it started off with Edinson Cavani heading a Marcus Rashford cross past Robin Olsen to open the scoring on the 24th minute. United then doubled their lead on the stroke of half-time through a Bruno Fernandes fantastic curled effort from outside the area. But then shortly after the break, Everton were level with 2 goals in just 3 minutes. Decore capitalised on a David De Gea parry to pull one back, and then the midfielder then turned provider for James Rodriguez to drill in a shot on the 52nd minute. United then restored their lead to what they thought would be the winner from Scott McTominay's header, but then Calvert-Lewin literally in the dying second, the last kick of the game, stretched to poke in Michael Keane's flick to earn the Toffees a point and deny United from going level on points with Manchester City at the top of the table. United are now 2 points behind City, who have a game in hand over them. This is now Everton's 7th straight away league match unbeaten, which now leaves them with 37 points. So, the question I want to ask, are Manchester United title challengers, contenders? Are they in this title race? But according to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's saying it's us, you know, as fans, as pundits, commentators, we're the ones that are talking it up. They're just trying to go about their business and trying to be the best that they can be. But it's us who are, you know, giving them this gas, should we say, in the fact that they're in the title race. You know, anything is possible. Anything is possible this season. Are they consistent enough? I don't think so. And it's going to boil down to consistency. But the way City are playing and the way Man United are playing, it's completely different. And I can't see Man United really winning this title. But yo, man, you got to give them the kudos to the fact that they're up there. And who would have thought going into the season that Man United would be second? They're doing well. They're doing well. A lot of people are still, you know, a bit iffy about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Hopefully he can push on to at least hold on to the top 3 spot and maybe even end the season with a trophy. Who knows? But, you know, that'll be a decent season for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Man United. And then moving on to the next game, another scoreless draw, this time between Fulham and West Ham. Frustrations all round as the game ended in a draw between Fulham and West Ham. This was actually Fulham's 9th draw this season, as they were unable to convert their dominance into goals at home at the Craven Cottage. West Ham started off brightly with Jared Bowens inches away from connecting with Aaron Cresswell's 13th minute cross before Jesse Lingard teed off Thomas Souček, who headed over. Fulham's best first half chance fell to Ademola Lookman, who shot just wide from the edge of the box. The hosts started off the second half brightly with Bobby De Cordova-Reid volleying narrowly over and Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding the side netting when through on goal. But West Ham had a decent chance of their own with a header that hit the bar from Vladimir Krufal, but the match was marred by an incident with Souček seen red after a VAR review in stoppage time for an elbow on Alexander Mitrovic. This was West Ham's 5th away league match unbeaten, which now leaves them in 6th position, joint on points with Chelsea on both on 39 points and a point behind Liverpool in 4th place. Fulham remain in 18th place with 15 points, 8 fewer than Burnley in 17th. The Spurs are shared a point each. I'm not sure either team will be happy with the point. For West Ham, it still pushes them towards that top 4 place that, you know, right about now is looking quite realistic if they can get the points on the board. David Moyes is doing an amazing job with West Ham right now, and man, we're going to just have to see whether or not this is a fluke or, you know, they're really about their business. And when it comes to Fulham, yeah, man, the battle continues. They needed the 3 points, to be fair, but West Ham have been in really good form, so it was always going to be a tough ask for Fulham, who've been playing some decent football. Listen, they've been playing some decent football, but yeah, it was always going to be a tough ask for Fulham. And then moving on to the next game, Newcastle versus Southampton, the Magpies versus the Saints. And you know what? I've got a new invested interest, in Newcastle at the present moment. Joe Willock is there, the Arsenal lad, out there on loan, and he actually scored on his debut. It was a great debut for Joe Willock as Alan St-Maximin squared the ball for the Arsenal loanee to put Newcastle ahead after 16 minutes. Man of the match and star of the show, Miguel Almiron's first half double, which helped Newcastle United beat Southampton at St James's Park, despite Newcastle ending the entertaining match with just 9 men. Newcastle doubled their advantage on the 26th minute through Almiron's deflected low strike, and then Takumi Minamino fired a high-angled shot 4 minutes later to pull a goal back on his debut for Southampton. But Newcastle restored their 2-goal lead in the first half of stoppage time after Almiron took advantage of Alex McCarthy's bad pass. James Ward-Prowse's stunning free kick on the 48th minute revived the Saints' hope, which were further lifted when Newcastle's Jeff Hendricks was shown a second yellow card 2 minutes later. Southampton's Danny Ings hit the post, but they couldn't find an equaliser despite Newcastle losing another player when Fabian Schär went off injured after all the substitutes were used. Now, despite the setback, Newcastle went on to win the game 3-2, taking all 3 points, and currently now sitting in 16th place with 25 points, 4 behind 12th place Southampton, but having played 1 more game than the Saints. Now, this is one of those games which is prime example of what the Premier League has been about this season, like the indifference, the inconsistency of teams. And I see Newcastle fans on the socials, I see you lot, you expect a lot from your team, innit? You expect a lot from your club. You consider your club a big club. You expect a lot from your manager, Steve Bruce. And it's been indifferent. It's been an indifferent season. And I did not expect you to win this game against Southampton. Now, that's despite the fact that Southampton lost 9-0 in their last game. I thought they were going to bounce back. That game, it being a blip, more than a blip. I thought they were going to bounce back. But it just shows you inconsistency. And with Southampton, if you are trying to get into these European places, you get beat 9-0, you need to bounce back in the next game. And Newcastle took full advantage because I don't think Southampton have shaken off that battering that they received. And Newcastle's taking full advantage. And a load of Newcastle fans, you're going to be quite happy at the end of this match week, knowing that you got points of a really good team, despite them losing 9-0, like I said. But it's 3 points in the bag for you guys. And slowly but surely, if you get more wins in the bag, you can push yourself. Obviously, 16th place isn't great, but all you can do is game by game, get the points on the board, and then you'll see where you end up this season. And then next up is Burnley versus Brighton, as the game ended 1-1 with both teams sharing the spoils. The game was quite entertaining with a decent first half, which saw Sanchez, who denied Dwight McNeil's free kick and saved an effort from James Tarkowski. Brighton then went ahead in the 36th minute when Pascal Gross's corner was headed by Lewis Dunk. Sanchez was on hand again to ensure Brighton went into the break in front when he kept out McNeil's curling effort. But Burnley's perseverance paid off with an equaliser in the 53rd minute when Eric Peters' shot was saved by Sanchez but fell to Johan Gudmundsson, who drilled in his first goal of the season. Burnley's Matej Vydra drew another save from Sanchez in the 71st minute as Brighton successfully soaked up pressure from the hosts for a point that takes them to a total of 25 points and currently sitting in 15th place in the league. With that added point, Burnley also move up to 23 points in total and also currently sitting in 17th place in the league this season. Not much I can really say about both these teams, but I think they're one of those teams that's always going to be flirting above the relegation zone, but they're going to have, I would say that I feel like they're good enough to, not get sucked into that real battle, that bottom three. But it's going to, if you're not winning games, as I've been mentioning here on the show, if you're not winning games, then you're going to leave yourself in a bit of trouble. So it's up to them to stay as consistent as they can be. But if they're getting points here and there, Brighton, the likes of Brighton beating Liverpool and Burnley also being able to take points here and there. So it's going to be real interesting to see. But they're both teams that I will confidently enough to say that they're not going to get relegated. But hey, they got to win their games, right? They got to win their games. And then last but not least, moving on to the first and early kickoff of match week 23, Aston Villa versus Arsenal. And the Villains yet again beating the Gunners during the season. That's twice. Villa beating Arsenal 1-0. Man, it's a tough game to watch, man. A tough game to watch. Arsenal fan Ollie Watkins' early goal was enough for Aston Villa to do the double over Arsenal for the first time since the 1992-93 season. The forward scored just after 74 seconds of the match, finishing Bertrand Traoré's cutback with a deflected strike for his 10th league goal of the season. Arsenal struggled to create clear chances in the first half, but Granit Xhaka's free kick forced a full stretch save from former Arsenal and FA Cup winning goalkeeper Emiliano Martinez. Brighton's lonely goalkeeper Matt Ryan, making his Arsenal debut in goal, kept out two efforts from Ollie Watkins shortly after half-time as Villa pushed on for a second. The Australian also made a good save to deny Jack Grealish with 11 minutes remaining, as Arsenal offered more of a threat in the second half, but substitute Martin Odegaard, he missed an incredible shot. Arsenal's best chance actually, with 6 minutes remaining as he steered the ball over the bar. With that win, Aston Villa moves into 9th place, currently sitting on 35 points, one spot behind Tottenham Hotspur, which is decent company, that's decent company to be around. And despite the good run that Arsenal have been on as of late, this was actually now their second consecutive defeat, which keeps Arsenal in 10th position, currently sitting on 31 points. This was a game that I would say Aston Villa fully deserved. They put in a lot more effort than Arsenal. They turned up for the game from the first whistle, and you need to be switched on from the first whistle right down to the end of the game, the last whistle. And unfortunately, Arsenal, I don't know, they just didn't turn up. And, the loss against Wolves, there was many excuses that could be made, and rightfully so, that some of the decisions were appalling. Real poor decisions were made during that game against Wolves. But this game, there's no excuses. You still virtually had 90 minutes plus some, and no real effort on goal, no real chances. Apart from, like I said, apart from the Granit Xhaka free kick and the Martin Odegaard's chance, we didn't really offer too much. And it's just real frustrating because, like I keep saying, it's just about being consistent, and we've been on a real good run. Arsenal's been on a real good run, and then 2 games on the bounce now we've lost. Now, before I leave, let's just check out the Premier League table, and it's been a while since I checked it out. Sometimes, when especially when you support Arsenal, you don't really want to be looking at the league table that often. Although I always say, don't really look at the positions, check out the points, and I'm still gonna hold myself to that. As you can see, well, what has changed since the last time I checked it out is Man City, 50 points, 10-point gap between Liverpool and Man City. And man, I don't know, man. When it comes to Liverpool, defending the title this season, it's gonna be quite difficult. But then you got the likes of United, who's sitting high in 2nd position, 45 points. And this is no luck. Don't let anybody fool you and tell you, Man United are in this false position, because that's garbage. You are where you are according to how you've been performing during the season. If you've been getting the points, amassing the points, then you deserve to be where you're at. And that's a wrap for today, but let me know if there's any standout moments that you enjoyed or you didn't enjoy, any particular games that you liked or you didn't like. And for me this week, I would say Man City just doing the madness on Liverpool. 4-1. And my player of the week has to be Phil Foden, man. 20 years old. It's such a shame, man. Such a talent, and no fans are in the stadiums actually watching him. But for us fans, obviously, watching at home, it's a pleasure. Oh man, he's a brilliant player, man. One of my favourite players in the Premier League. Who else? Man United, Everton. DCL, HBK, the Heartbreak Kid, that last minute goal, man. I knew, like, as soon as they committed that foul, I was like, listen, it's going to be a goal. It's going to be a goal. Boom, goal. You know, the players were putting up their hands and looking for offsides, sweating on VAR, but hey, man. What a way to, you know, lose out on points. Man United, this is what you have to do. You got to be consistent with it. And then things like this is when all the Man United fans start looking at Ole and being like, man, I told you, man. Yo, man, Ole out, man. So, but those were my two moments. Obviously, the moment that I didn't enjoy was Arsenal losing to Aston Villa for the second time this season. So that wasn't great. But hopefully in the next game, Arsenal can pick up all 3 points and start pushing up the table. Anyway, let me know how you felt about match week 23. Did your team win, lose or draw? And how well is your team doing so far this season? Put your comments down below and let me know. And also don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Smash that like button, comment and help me to get these subs up. I truly appreciate your help with that. And if you need further information about future episodes or just the show in general, come and check me out. I'm on Instagram and I'm also on Twitter, which is @sports. I'll put it down below here at @sports and I'll also leave it in my description so that you'll be able to check that out directly. And remember, check out the main show itself, @sports. That's where I discuss all things sports related, hot topics and trending stories. So remember to press the notification bell so that you don't miss out on that show or any other show that I've got here on this channel. With that being said, until the next time here on the Sports Premier League review, peace.